It's Tuesday again.
Again! Still Tuesday.
Still Tuesday. Yeah, this is going to be really weird. All right.
That one's got a delay.
It does have a little bit of a late, which is
weird.
kind of weird, right? It's like
Yeah, don't look there because it's
second
just
later.
It's
Yeah.
off. Yes. Strange.
So yeah.
Here we are again.
Here we are again. It's been a crazy morning. I feel like we're always, for whatever reason, it's like we have the morning and then it's 1 o'clock and then it's 3:30.
There's like no afternoon.
No.
It gets to be noon super quick if we have a morning thing because I mean it is what the
Yeah.
way that it is, and then all of a sudden, and then like 2 hours takes forever to go, and then boom, it's 3:30, and we're like, oh,
We're not ready.
hi mom,
Hi, Mom.
hi dad. Is dad watching?
That would be hysterical. No, if he is, it means he's probably making his brother and them watch, which would be.
That would be
I
pretty
would feel
funny,
really bad
actually.
for them.
That would be hysterical as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, have you gotten to sew it all with dad home?
I sewed all day yesterday.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you get him watching?
I turned the blacklist on and
Just get him hooked, right?
he was instantly hooked. David and I watched a couple of episodes into the first
It's
season.
a great show.
And I don't know how we missed it the first 8 years that it was on, but thanks Netflix, it recommended it, and so
Yeah.
it's
It's a great one.
and it's relatively easy to follow, even though there's lots of twists and turns.
Yeah.
You can kind of pick back up. So
You can, but at the same time, you still never actually know what's going on.
no, which is kind of great because you're like, oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Did you get that?
Did you get that right?
Right?
Exactly.
Did you know that happened?
I know. No, I did not
No,
because I wasn't
no.
watching that part.
But it's like that for the whole
time,
show. Yeah.
yes.
The whole show is like, oh my God, why did I not see that coming?
I know.
The whole show's like that.
It's kind of crazy. So
I might have to rewatch because it's been a long time. I watched
Yeah.
it when it was like originally out, so it's,
I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's been a while, and I love that like I can just binge 8 seasons, and it's like 8 real
Isn't that the
seasons
best?
because they're like 22 episodes long.
full things, not half-hour shows, and you get 8.
Not a Netflix thing where you only get 10 shows, and you're like, it's only been
over?
3 hours.
I'm not finished with my sewing project yet.
Exactly. But I made a jelly roll from start to finish yesterday. Like opened it out of the package and sewed all the strips
She
together.
made a jelly roll rug.
Rug, yes.
Let's add another word.
Yes. And so I was sewing the strips together. So first you sew all the strips together, and then you put the batting in. And so I'm sewing the batting and stitching that. So I'm
Right.
not making the rug yet. It's basically
Still
just
making the stuff.
right. It's
Yeah.
it looks like a long snake. And my dad asked me what I'm doing. And I said, I'm making a rug. And he looks at me. He's like, well, that's going to be a really skinny rug.
Yep.
I'm like, yes,
Thanks,
Dad, but I have to sew them all together. He didn't get it. I'm like, the rug in the kitchen? He's like, yeah, it's going to look like that. Oh. But I did complete the whole thing yesterday.
fantastic.
So I don't think I've ever completed a jelly roll rug in one sitting.
I've never completed one. I've never
So,
even started one.
I
It's on my list, but
So I've made several that shape, which is a little bit more oval.
yeah.
I started with a shorter piece this time,
Yeah.
maybe about 6 inches. And so it made it a little bit more round, which actually I think made it easier to turn because the whole thing had a gradual
It didn't have
turn.
as sharp of a curve.
Right. And
Yep.
it literally just kind of spun itself.
Yeah. So I've done that with
Bowls. Rope bowls?
the rope.
Yeah.
Mhm. So I've done that a lot, which you're turning much. Yeah, it's a little scary.
Yes.
So it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done a lot of that. Are you warm?
I am roasting. Yes, I know you've
And
got
I'm
your sweater
sitting
on
here
over
with a
there.
sweater
I was
on.
actually thinking about plugging in my little fan over there.
Because yesterday, it's funny, you weren't here, obviously, and we're, Carolyn and Hayden and Tucker and I were sitting there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so cold. Are you guys cold? Is it cold in here? And Carolyn and Hayden both go, yes, immediately. And I'm like, gosh, Carolyn was like, she got like your sweater? And I'm like, heck yeah. So she reaches behind her because she was right there and grabbed it and threw it at me. And Tucker's like, I'm going to have to go get my fan.
Yeah, I'm dying. Poor Lisa's got her sweater on over here, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna need to put my fan on in a minute.
It's
So
okay.
yeah.
I'm comfortable. I'm not hot or cold. I'm just comfortable, which is kind of nice for a change. You're warm.
I feel like my cheeks are getting warm, so I'm sorry. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just actually a little warm. Yeah.
So
Yeah, so we sent
we
out an email.
We only just recently started talking about this like in detail. We've been planning it like in the back of our heads for a while.
Yeah, since like March.
Like for a long time, because we ordered some of this fabric
In
eons ago, and then we got the shipper for it and kind of went, oh,
I said that out loud.
you said that out loud. This show
Quietly.
is not rated for her fault this time, not mine. But yeah, we get a shipper for the backing fabric, and we were like, do you remember ordering all of that?
Right? I'm like, oh my God.
That was a little bit ago.
We have got
And
to get
so,
our stuff together.
So then we were like, we got to get on the stick and get this going, because we're going to have a lot of fabric that we need to
Figure
have
out.
a plan for. So we were like, all right, we're going to make this happen and put our heads together.
Yeah.
And here we are. So today we are going to talk about that. And I'm like, which way am I? I still can't get this reverse thing. It's so off. Yep. See, you can't either.
I don't either. I just got to point to you.
Point to me. It's all good.
Oh.
Anyway, so this thing is a adorable quilt. And the wonderful thing about this particular piece is it is available for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you are an appliquer, if you're a in the hoop appliquer, if maybe you like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Hey, you want to use your scan and cut? You want to learn how to use your scan and cut? This is the quilt for you, because we're going to be doing all of those things.
Yes.
And so it's going to be very, very fantastic, because this has lots and lots of different capabilities in there. So if you are just quote unquote a sewer, which is great and fine and wonderful, you can make this just as beautiful as anybody else. And we will have all of the tools and instruction for you to do that. If you would like to make this all in your embroidery hoop, depending upon your hoop size, we can make that happen. If you have just a beginning starter size machine, then you'll have to mix and match a little bit. There will be some hoopings which will be too large for you, but we're going to be there and show you how to do all of that along the way. So everybody has the ability to make this this quilt.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it won't shock anybody. We might have decided we're going to change and adjust a few things.
Yeah, basically the whole thing.
Does that surprise anybody?
It's going to look like this when it's
going to
done.
look pretty much just like that.
Yes.
But how we get from point A to point Z, we're going to have some fun and
Not
throw
B?
in some.
No bootylicious today?
No booty. No. I purposely didn't put B in there, and she just goes there anyways. What are you going to do? But yeah, so we're going to just.
Yeah.
We're going to take you down some paths that you might not have thought you were going to go down.
Yeah, so you can make it as simply
Yep.
as you want, but if you really want to learn about all of the fun features on your machine, both sewing and embroidery, we have a really fun journey for you.
We do, and you can just come and listen if you would like to. You can sit in your home and listen if you would like to. Or you can come and listen, bring your machine, and stay and sew and test out the things that we've shown you if you would like to do that as well.
Absolutely. So
A little bit for everybody.
Yeah, and so this picture is a pretty good representation of what the quilt is going to look like. So that is the border fabric that we're going to be used in there, and we also photoshopped canvas shopped in this
shopped in the sashing fabric.
Right.
So it's pretty close. It's a lighter hue than what you would have seen in the email. So we've fixed that so that you guys, that was the one thing that we got emails. What is the fabric actually going to look like? So that's what we kind of focused to try to help answer those questions for you guys today.
Yeah.
So super excited.
Yeah, we won't have all of the fabrics until probably December. So we're working with a basically digital representation of the fabrics as well.
Yep.
So this is as close as we can get. And of course, when you're taking somebody else's pattern and then trying to superimpose a different print on top of it, and there's so much stuff going on with these, it's a little bit difficult. But I really think the colorway is a pretty accurate representation. We have some bigger pictures of the
other
fabrics,
which we'll scroll through as we go and
Yes.
talk about the different little bits. So the first thing Carolyn asked me when I showed it to her, and she read the email, and I showed her the picture, and she was like, "Do I have to piece that outside border?" I was like, "Nope. It's not. It just looks like it's pieced. So it is literally that is the fabric." And she was like, "Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I just didn't want to piece it."
Yeah, no, it's a border print, so you don't have to piece it. It just
looks that
it is
way.
just going to look that way. So yeah, you don't have to do that. So Pam asks us, it's a really good question. So is the quilt process similar to Stitcher's Garden? Can you do the entire quilt in the hoop? Yes, no, maybe. All of the above?
So first question, is it similar to Stitcher's Garden? So Stitcher's Garden was a block of the month that we did like 3 years ago, more than that, 2 years ago. We've done it twice. So that was the first block of the month that Sarah did shortly after you started working here.
Yeah.
And she had done that before at a previous employers, and then ran that here and ran a second round of it here. So that one was 100% sewing based. There was no embroidery really in there except at the end.
There was like 4
threw in
blocks.
a couple things that you could try embroidery if you wanted, but there was no embroidery required by any stretch. And there wasn't any embroidery patterns for every block by any thought process there. It will be similar in the aspect of you will get patterns and fabrics for each month as we go. So we'll be working in sections. So in that aspect, it will be the same. But I just explaining what Stitcher's Garden was in case some of you didn't know what that was. It was a block of the month that we ran in the past. So block of the month is basically, we'll do sections of the quilt each month of the year as we go. So the breakdown we've got pretty well planned out. That was one of the things that we knocked our heads together until something shook out and formed on paper. So we've got that pretty well planned as to what we're going to do when, and you will get the pattern for those pieces and the fabrics for those pieces for each different month. So all of that is very similar to the Stitcher's Garden in that aspect. And then can you do the entire quilt in the hoop? Depends on your hoop.
Yeah, so those of you with a larger hoop, so and larger being like our largest, 10 5/8 by 16, you will have the ability to do basically everything. But there is more than half of this quilt is doable in a 6 by 10 hoop, and then 8 by 12 and 9 by 14. You'll have the ability to do everything else besides the sewing machine. And we have some ideas of how we can do like a traditional base for the sewing machine and then embellish using our embroidery machine.
It's been smoking in here because
Exactly.
our brains have been running so hard.
And we have been talking about, my Stitcher's Garden was one of those quilts that you kind of quilted as you go in a similar fashion to like the Kimberbell style. So you quilted your backgrounds first and then you did your applique pieces on top of it. We are going to have some similar
options.
Yes. So those of you who would like to be able to do this will be able to. That sewing machine block is 18.5 inches by 18.5 inches, all said and done. But it is broken up into 2 sections, which are about
in the original written pattern.
Yeah. 8 by 16, 15. So pretty large style. But like I said, we do have some options. So if it doesn't fit in your embroidery hoop,
Yep.
we're gonna have some choices for you.
So if any of you have tried, sewing and embroidery, let me try that again. Sewing a sewing machine, didn't want to come out of my mouth for some reason. The actual applique process of putting that down, those are very basic pieces. Those are large framed pieces of it. It's not like
It's not super intricate.
it's not like, okay, we've got to make this lace whatnot. It's not. It's the easiest piece, I would think, almost on the whole thing, because they are very large, bulky pieces. So if you don't have a hoop large enough, don't freak out, I guess is where I'm going with that.
Right.
Because if you have to do that one piece in traditional applique to put those down, and then you embroider the decorative pieces on top of that, which is what we're talking about, super straightforward. And we're going to be there to guide you the whole way through.
Yeah. And I am the applique queen. So I promise that if you have never done any traditional machine applique, yes, you're going to love it when we're done. And even if you can't do the biggest parts, we are going to have parts on the bigger blocks that you will be able to embellish with your embroidery machine. So Sandy says that she has a 5x7 hoop. So you will be able to you would be surprised at how many blocks are going to be able to work in a 5x7 hoop. So we'll have lots of options for you. There will be some things that are just not going to be doable in there, but
if it's feasible, we're going to break it down so that it can be put into a smaller hoop and do what is termed multi-hooping.
Yep.
So sometimes that's going to work, and sometimes it just doesn't break down like that. So when we can, we will break it down so that you can use a multi-hooping technique wherever possible. But some of these things, they're going to be what they're going to be.
Right.
And you will have to be doing parts of that as a traditional applique.
Yep.
But as Sarah was saying, she can teach you how to do that. And I'd never appliqued anything.
It's not hard.
Before we had to make masks, and then I went home and I did a W, which had curves and points, and it actually turned out pretty good for having never done it before. I made it all the way around there with only one real, that one looked pretty bad, but I made it all the way around using techniques that you had taught. And
you heard it enough.
I might have heard it once or twice, and I'm sitting at home. Okay, now she said to do this, but she's got a lot of really great, because she's been doing this, right? So not to mention just her own personal, but she's taught these classes. So from an applique standpoint, you've got somebody coming in that's got a lot of background and experience teaching someone that's never done applique before how to do it and get it done right, and have it not be stressful, and have you be done with your flower points or your button points or whatever it happens to be, and have them turn out. Because the traditional method can seem scary if you've not done it before, because how am I supposed to get my stitches to go exactly on just pay attention, and somebody's going to show you how to do it.
Yeah, and the machine embroidery designs have both a satin stitch or a blanket stitch,
which I also thought was really neat.
So you can bounce between.
You can bounce. You can say, okay, I'm going to do all blanket, I'm going to do all satin, or you're going to say, well, I want this to be in that and that to be in this, and have it be however you would like. So, if you're doing some in traditional and you're sewing in a blanket stitch, you can have your embroidery match that so that it blends better. Or you can decide, well, this is how I'm going to
I want to embellish it a little bit.
You can choose and have a lot of personalization in this. So when it comes down to the end of it, it's not just going to be thread color or something like that that's going to differentiate mine from yours, or so on and so forth, because we can all make a lot of choices in here to really make it ours.
Yes. So Cindy, I'm skipping your question for just a minute because it'll make more sense in just a minute. And Pam's other question is, will each person receive the sewing applique method and the embroidery method? Yes, you do not have to declare one. You can be Switzerland. No declaration needed.
Absolutely nothing has to be. The only thing that we absolutely need to know is if we need to ship your kit to you.
Yep.
that's we need to know that.
Yes.
But outside of that, you know, once you've picked a payment option, you can do it however you would like to do it. And you can even bounce between coming in store and doing virtual. Doesn't matter. So it's, you know, if 1 month, maybe you're, you know, kind of far and you only want to actually make the drive every other month or something, that's fine. You know, you can have your off month be virtual, or
Yes.
it's whatever works for you.
And her other question was, is the traditional method raw edge or turned? It is, the traditional method for this one is raw edge. It is not turned. Someone asked if this was a Leabu original. It isn't. So this is someone else's design.
It's a little bit altered.
But it is definitely heavily altered.
Well, it will be. We're still working on those alterations. But
Yeah.
when we all is said and done. And that being said, it will still look
Yes.
almost exactly like this when we're done. But how we got there and then additional embellishments and things like that. But the shapes and those things, we're not changing.
No.
You know, the sewing machine will still be the sewing machine, and the dress form, you know, so on and so forth. But
Yeah.
the embellishments and how we're going to get to point.
Yes. Your quilting method, we're going to teach couching and embellishing and some software techniques to learn how to alter different designs and take things apart. So we have a very long list of things that we want to show you how to use all of the things that you've been collecting. So, you know, if you're a sewer, a quilter, or an embroiderer, like you might have software that you don't use all the time. Maybe you don't know how to pick apart a design and move things around and delete them. So we're gonna be doing stuff like that. And there's no fear. So like if you don't have software and you can't do it, we're still gonna do that part for you so that you can
but we're going to show you what we did.
Yes, we're going to explain to you how you did this. So we have a lot of really fun plans to show you how to do this. Like our list is pages long of all of the fun stuff that we want to show you how to do it. So we're super
and anytime
excited.
a nugget pops in our head, we write it down so that we don't forget, because you know,
we're getting better at writing nuggets that we can read later.
Yeah, sometimes we write that down, and I'm like, was that barbecue sauce? Yeah. No, don't know what that was.
What did I mean by that?
Don't know what that one was. But yeah, so there's going to be things that we will be adding to the pattern or slightly adjusting. But big picture, this is going to be what it looks like. I don't want anybody to go away from this thinking we've altered what that picture looks like, because that's not what we're talking about.
We're just going to teach you how to use your machine to the fullest capacity that you can and how to really make a design your own. So, you know, Lisa-fy it.
Exactly.
So you take something, right, and then you alter it to make it your own. It's very rare that Lisa and I follow the directions all the way through. Nope. We're constantly like, oh God, there's a different way that we could do this, or how about if we do this? So
it actually hurts to
the struggle is real.
Yeah, you know, so somebody asked me, you know, well, what machine are you going to be stitching on? We will probably be stitching on the top of the line or next to top of the line machine if for some reason we sell out of those again. But that doesn't mean that we won't be discussing how to do those things on other machines. So just because we're stitching on this machine doesn't mean it can't be done on other machines. So just to clarify that.
Yes. Yeah, the beautiful thing is that we have so many machines at our disposal here. Right. So if you're asking us a question during the discussion, the virtual part, you're either here or you're at home, well, we're just going to walk over to the other sewing machine and be like, okay, this is the button you're going to push. We're going to show you what it is.
This is where it is, how you get there.
That's right. So we're going to have lots of options. Marilyn asked, can we visit you at the store and borrow a machine with a giant hoop?
What a great question.
You
would think we paid her to ask that, wouldn't
right? You? Yes.
So we do have plans for later in the year for that to be an option for some of these things, to test drive some of the top of the line features so that you guys can see what those are and actually get to try out some of those things if you would like to. So it would be, you know, we've got the designs loaded in there that you could come in and go, oh, wow, that's how that works? Yeah, cool. Push the button and watch the machine do the work.
Yes.
Kind of thing. So it would be a simplified version we're not going to let you sit down and sew for 4 hours or anything like that. But there will be absolute times that you can come in and do those things, but they will be scheduled options when that can be.
Absolutely. We don't know yet.
Not sure. What we can tell you is when it won't be.
It will not be Monday.
Because she won't be here. And it
or
will not be Thursday.
Because she won't be here.
So that leaves only a couple of days really for that to be. So previous block of the month, you had a couple times that you repeated things.
Yes.
I would think that as long as we have the numbers to support that. So if we have 10 of you sign up, there will be 1 day.
Right.
If we have 50 of you sign up, there will be at least 2 days. So, kind of thought process behind there. So that will be dependent upon what is needed. But there will be more than one most likely. I don't anticipate only 10 of you signing up. So,
no. And if I had to wager a guess, I'm imagining that we're going to get enough people that we'll have probably, it's probably not going to be Tuesday. And there's a good possibility it won't be Friday because we already do classes.
Wednesdays.
So it's probably going to be Wednesday and or maybe Saturday. So that is by process of elimination of the other things.
If somebody like, nope, you got to answer, that would be our stab in the dark.
Yes.
Timing, 10 a.m., 9:30, something would probably be it. And our hope is that the techniques that we'll be using, we will have recorded that we can put on YouTube that will be available for anybody, not necessarily just this core group, so that you will be able to access them anywhere, even if you don't happen to have the email link kind of thing. So there wouldn't be a hidden video. It would be an available video with those techniques that we're using.
Yeah. So our best guess right now is our hope is a Wednesday and a Saturday. One will precede the other most likely, whether or not Wednesday is first or Saturday is first. It could be vice versa, but that is our very best guess. So it probably will be towards the end of the month, at least for the first month, just because of logistics
Christmas and jazz.
Of getting the kits out to everyone. And then it may not be a set Wednesday or Saturday. It may just be the dates. It
might be, we'll let you know this month what next month will be, and we'll go from there. But the days of the week, anyways, will be consistent, and most likely those just from you got to take out Sunday and you got to take out Monday. That doesn't leave a whole lot left, right? So.
And Pam's question was couching on an embroidery machine. Yes, and different machines are going to react to this differently. Our Luminaire and Solaris machines have a special technique that we can use for this, but there are ways that we can do this on other brands of machines as well. So yes, we are going to do some couching in the embroidery machine. And if you don't have an embroidery machine that we can do couching with, or you don't like the look, we are going to do sewing couching. And I will be teaching that as well on how to embellish over top of an applique
yarn,
piece, ribbon,
whatever
yarn.
Happens, whatever you choose for it to be. We will certainly have, and those are the things that we're talking about, SnL embellishments. When you read that email, those are the kinds of things we're talking about, because that's not part of this instruction kit. It doesn't say, you need this much yarn and you need this. It doesn't have those kinds of things in there. So those are things that we're planning to add in as options. You would get the materials that you would need from a in this case, yarn or ribbon piece. We wouldn't be providing the foot, of course, but those kinds of things, you would get those in that kit for that month.
Yep. And Cindy says, we do not.
Nope.
However, I'm pretty versed in Bernina, so...
Why would that be?
I don't know, 15 or so years of my life. I have a Bernina machine at home too, so if we did end up with a large group of Bernina people, I could probably do a demonstration on that style machine if we need that, or if you ask a question that I don't know off the top of my head,
figure it out.
Yeah, it is likely that I will be able to help figure that out. I know we're starting to get a few more of those. Those Bernina girls. We're all B girls, so
it's a matter of what comes after it. Absolutely.
I have all 3 B-girls downstairs in my room. Well, some of them are upstairs now, but yes. So it's just my B-girl collection.
I went to Sam's Club the other day. They have this sofa table that would go like behind your couch, and it had 3 stools. And I was like, my luminaire would fit on that.
Right?
Maybe I could. And then I was like, wait, it would fit on it, but the table won't fit in my family room. Aw.
Oh, all right.
So next,
Roseanne says, will we have help if we stay and sew? Yes. Our goal is that between the 2 of us, we're going to be teaching this together. So one of us should be available to help, and one of us can help on the floor, so we can tag team in and out of here.
Absolutely.
As you guys are working with questions, so you won't be left alone. We won't obviously be standing in here babysitting you for the entire time, but we will be here to help anybody who is struggling.
Absolutely.
And then Marilyn says, you can pick them up or you can have them shipped to you. So that will be your choice.
Yep. At the bottom of the email, there's some shipping numbers and information if that's something that you would like, either because you aren't local, but you would still like to participate from a virtual perspective, or if you just need an individual kit shipped. All of that information is in that email as well.
And so basically you can drop in and out of that as well. We can just do a monthly ship for you if you need. And yep, I've got several of you Bernina girls in here. I sew on a Bernina and an embroidery on a brother. Yep, you are not alone.
So all of that will work beautifully.
Yes.
So you bet.
So the good news is that while Lisa and I are not super familiar with Janome machines, Tucker, our newest employee here, she has a Janome sewing machine, embroidery machine, and she's pretty versed in that. So I believe.
Not to mention Tony.
Tony can fix it, yes.
And Tony's here 6 days a week. So if there's something that we needed that, for whatever reason,
yes,
we can snag him because hey, where's this?
That's right.
And so there's always going to be someone here if need be. And basics, we're both very versed on the basics of pretty much any machine. So
yeah, if you're here and your machine is here, we have no issues probably getting through anything. It'll
some basic issues that you might run into from whatever.
Right. If you ask us a weird random question about where something is and you are at home and we cannot push your buttons.
It might be a little harder.
Because you like to push buttons.
We do.
We might have to ask, we might have to tag out and ask a question or two. But we've pretty much got the gamut covered here. So in store, like I said, we're really used to having all kinds of brands in the store here. It's just when we can't get our hands on your machine if you're at home that you have to rely on your sources a little bit more to push your buttons. You have to have other people to push your buttons.
Other people have to have that fun too.
Right? All right, so let's show you some bigger pictures of some of the fabrics. So here, I know someone asked about that border fabric. It comes like this. So it will not be a pieced border. It will be a cut border that is already pieced like this. So easy peasy.
You betcha.
And then this is a bigger picture of what the sashing fabric is going to look like. So it's this really pretty teal aqua fabric. And the flowers are made up of like sewing notions. So it's very cute.
Some pins and needles and things that are in there that make up petals and leaves and things. So very, very cute. I think it's adorable anyway.
Yes, we think it's super adorable. These tape measures, they are going to be the binding. And all of these fabric words are going to be your backing. That one will also be in some of the appliques as well. Both of them will be in some of the appliques as well. But the big chunks of that will be in your backing and your binding. And your backing and your binding is included in the price of this kit. And then that is our background fabric. It has super cute sewing notions on there. Quilting, sewing, piecing, serge, bobbin cases, bobbin covers, no bobbins.
It is a little bobbin themed, but
Yeah.
it's got buttons and other little things too. But
Packs of
circular
needles.
themed, I guess, might
Yes.
be. But it is definitely a darling print, and that is going to be those backgrounds for the squares themselves. There is sometimes an additional piece if it's like a two-dimensional type or a ground or
Yep.
table or something appearance. There will be something else that goes with that, but that's the main background.
Yep, and then the gray and the
tape measures.
Thank you.
that
I can't
have
find my
different
words.
colors
Different
in them.
colored.
So the other one was more teal colored shades. This one's going to have the greens and the reds with the coral and different grays things in there. So
Yep.
a little bit different color scheme. And these are going to all be now very different amounts. So there's no way for me to be like, this is going to be in this one. We would be here all day.
We would be here all day.
So these are just some larger photos of that, so you can make out those prints just a little bit easier. The top two, the blue and the green, are the same as that sashing fabric, which was in the aqua, just different colors. The medallion little flowers there, those are flower head pins in the shape of a flower. Super, super cute. And then the others just kind of have medallions out of scissors and cutting tools. That one's actually called tools in the name of the fabric line. That was the name of that one.
And I think that's
that
it,
was
right?
That was the last of the specific prints that we pulled out. And then we will have coordinating not solids, but reed solids,
Yep.
polka dots and things like that will go in there. So if you see all the way around the outside, there is that, of course, outside border, but the inner border there, those are spools. And so that's where a lot of these individual things are coming in as the spools of thread. So you'll see a lot of those individual colors coming. They're in a few random places, but they're all pretty much out there in a spool of thread. And we will have a lot of coordinating
Yep,
pieces
absolutely.
to fill in the gaps.
But
with
you can
those.
kind of get the feel for the quilt. It will still very much look like what this picture represents, but some of the fabrics will be a little bit different. There is a little bit of purple in the back of the quilt for sure, and it's possible that there could end up being a little bit of purple. We
like
love
purple.
So yeah, if we can find
if we can get something that coordinates and blends well.
the right shade of purple to put in there, I can certainly see a couple of pieces of purple in there. Keep in mind that this is still revolving for us, so that's why this is the best guess for how the fabric is going to look and feel. The individual fabrics, aside from the ones that we showed you, are all still very much up in the air. We're getting them to look like that, but it won't be that exact pink floral print that's in the second row on that bolt of fabric, because we might not have
was
that
last
one.
year's.
Yes, but
We'll
we
get something
have
that's
a
close
cute
and-
sewing machine, and the second row there's a little cute sewing machine. We already have cute sewing machine fabric, so like I said, it's very much going to look like this. The individual prints on the fabrics will vary slightly, but
And any substitutions that we put in there are going to be very, very similar to what you're seeing. So from a picture standpoint, it's not going to vary much from what you're seeing.
Yep. And Roseanne wants to know, do we have to prep before coming, or we can get the kit when we arrive? So you will have some prep work to do, but we're going to hopefully have the majority of the prep work done at the beginning, so that the little pieces like your background fabrics and things like that, they'll already be ready so that you can get down to the nitty gritty of the rest of it. So we'll have more specifics about that a little bit closer, but you won't need to spend, an hour or two prepping in class.
Right.
You will have, like I said, done some of the background pieces and stuff like that ahead of time, because that's part of our class prep 1 that we're going to do.
Yep. So in if you are a Stitcher's Garden returnee and you're like, okay, this is going to be exactly like that. She gave you 2 kits, so you were ahead a month. We are not planning to do that with this. So in January, you will get January's fabrics and so on and so forth. So you won't get February's fabrics in January. It'll be the month that we're in is the month that you'll get so on and so forth. So.
Yes. And the next question, unfortunately, I don't think that we can answer this, right?
It will vary how long those classes will be. So the in-person and virtual class will be the same thing. So we will basically be Zooming with the camera on us of whatever we are teaching here in store will be being Zoomed out to whomever is home. So it will be the same time frame for both of those. But the time frame will vary from month to month because we'll be teaching different things from month to month. So 1 month has more blocks and so therefore more techniques or whatnot will run a little bit over. We certainly anticipate it being an hour. Sometimes it will run over and sometimes it might run way over. Sometimes it might just be a little bit under. I mean, unfortunately, until we really see exactly breaking down what we're going to end up adding. And if you guys know us at all, you know that we tend to overgive. So we'll probably end up giving you, well, hey, we tried this too. And so more information, more time, but.
And question wise, you know,
Right.
sometimes
Absolutely.
Lisa and I think, okay, well, we got 15 minutes. That'll be plenty of time to explain this. And then an hour later,
We're like, wow, okay.
where we had some really great questions and, you know, we're still doing the same thing. So
Right.
I would say probably,
I'm thinking probably more like an hour and a half.
yeah, I was going to say from Stitcher's Garden, I would say anywhere from 1 to 2 hours for the lecture part to go over a technique and cover questions. The larger the group,
The longer it will
the
end up
longer
taking.
it will take, yes. But it should be, and both times it will be a duplicate. Of course, it's slightly different each time you go.
Right, because different people ask different questions. So things, your journey goes down a little bit of a different road.
Right.
Depending upon, you know, the feedback and.
Yeah, and the advantage of there being 2 classes and 2 virtuals, if we have enough people, is that literally if you come to the Wednesday class, but you want to listen virtually to the Saturday class, you just listen virtually to the Saturday class. So
Not a problem.
it will not be a problem at all.
All right. So.
Yes. All right. If we pay up front for the whole quilt, will we get all of the months at one time or still 1 month?
No, and that's not the only person that I think the
Yes.
next one was basically at least the same question. And could you get everything in January? So we will be cutting kits throughout the year. We won't have everything cut in January. So you will get that month's fabrics, that month's pattern, and then so on and so forth throughout the year. So paying up front gives you the registration fee waived is where that goes. It won't change how the rest of the year will be handled at all. So there's no way for us to, you know, well, this person got that and this person got that. We can't.
And let's be frank, right? If I got all of the parts, I would be doing my own thing and then asking a bunch of questions. We're going to assume that you're going to be like me, so no.
You don't want to have Sarah in your class,
right?
FYI.
You only dole out the part that you're willing to talk about right now. So, what happens when you purchase when you purchase the pattern? So on month 1, you are going to get a download code, and you are going to have access to
all of the digital files.
The digital files. So
Which
you'll have
are the
all the embroidery
embroidery
designs,
yep.
SVG files. So you will have that. You just won't have the rest of the instructions on what to do with those.
So you can play, but the physical whatnots that we're talking about will be piecemealed as we go.
Yes.
Only if you record it.
Right. We do not record our Zoom meetings, but we do give you the option of recording it. So if you join, we will give you the
can
option to hit record.
on your screen, and you can save those on your computer.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there's not enough memory in the world for us to record everything that we teach and then keep. So.
And we talked a little bit about doing like a Facebook Live in a private Facebook group. The problem with doing a Facebook Live is that, it's like this. So you can ask a question by typing it,
right.
But we can't see what you're doing.
See what you're doing or hear you, and sometimes things don't come across as clear in a text as.
Right.
Or it's hard to explain what you want through a text and that kind of thing. So we are certainly willing to adapt as the year goes on. If we were like, oh, well, that didn't work quite like we wanted, and we're going to make some changes, we're certainly we're not idiots. If something needs to be adjusted as we go, we'll certainly do that.
Yes.
But we're planning to do the Zoom just because that does give us the interaction with everybody, and it's from a teacher's perspective so much better if we can, well, hold up, what the heck are you talking about? Let me see what you're doing. It's very difficult to interact with people that you can't interact with.
Right.
So that's the plan.
That is our plan. Yes, that is why we would like to do it that way. So it'll be lots and lots and lots of fun.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, Connie says that unfortunately she will not be able to participate. I'm sorry. Yes, you still have, the kits are still available. So
yes.
If you change your mind between now and the end of the year,
right?
And there's still kits available.
I mean, you certainly had people that just bought the kit and didn't participate in the classes themselves because they wanted the stuff, which certainly can do that. It's just going to take you a year to get all of your stuff. But let's also be real. How many of you actually do the entire quilt in 1 month?
Right.
I mean, so how long have you been working on your life? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, getting those, you could look at it if you paid for the shipping or whatever. You could look at it as, fun quilting something that you're getting in the mail every month and just have some fun with that. So you certainly are.
So Pam says, I can't watch it later on YouTube if I'm busy that day. You can if you watch it. So if you watch it, you can record it and then you can replay it and you can watch it at another time. If you miss it, you can try for the second time. Or if you watch it and you can't record it, it'll be just like everybody who's here live.
So one of the things, I've been doing a lot of virtual classes with events and things, and people ask me that a lot with, I just paid, $100 or $200 or whatever for an event, and I'm going to have to miss this portion of it. And I'm like, as long as you are there when we start and you hit record, if you leave, you still are recording, whether you're sitting in front of your computer or iPad or whatever it is or not, it's still recording. So you just have to be there wherever to hit record for it to start. You don't actually have to sit there and continue to watch. When we end it, your video will end because it won't have anything else to record.
Right.
So as long as you have the ability to do that, you do have the option to record it and then go do your shopping or whatever it is that you have to do that day as well.
Yep.
But unfortunately, there will be no recording that we will be posting out there, but we will plan on doing the techniques that whatever we're doing, there will be technique videos available on our YouTube channel.
So you'll be able to watch those specific pieces and parts anytime you need to. You'll be able to reference the individual part. Those will always be there. They will not disappear or but they will be up.
Because though we're planning to do, these fabrics or whatever in there, the technique that we're going to use, we're going to keep the lesson generic of this is how you do this technique kind of thing. So those will be on the YouTube channel.
We're super excited to have real life people.
I am right there with you. So sounds like fun. Can't wait to have you.
And Marilyn wants to know how many. We can accommodate quite a few people in the store. Sewing wise, with notice, we probably can fit, 15 or 20 people in the room. The thing that I realized a while ago is that 20 people will tell me that they're going to stay and stitch, and
then 2 might.
some of them will even bring their machines, but a lot of people won't stay. So the store is big. We can find room for you if we need to, and we are happy to. If you want to stay and stitch, we will make space for you.
Absolutely.
But if we're talking lecture, this is a huge room. We will have the ability to put what we're doing up on the big screen, as well as demonstrating over here.
Right. So if you're not sitting right up at the front row, you still be able to see what's happening at the machine.
Absolutely. So it'll be just like
you know, an event or whatnot that you can still see from the back of the room. It will be just fine.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, you know, if you need to be however many feet apart to make yourself comfortable and be here in store, but you really want to be in store.
Right.
Come on in. You know, you'll be fine to watch and whatnot from wherever you decide to be located at in
Yes.
store. And you know, we've got so many tables at the moment, but we know that it's going to have, we've got lots more space than just what we've got right now. We're very spread out right now, which we did on purpose so that everybody had as much room kind of as possible, if you will, but at the same time, there's room for more tables in here if we need them. So like she said, if you want to be here, we will find space for you. Absolutely. Yes. Please don't look at the room and go, oh, there's no table.
Yeah.
I'm out.
We will find
Just
you a table.
let us know and we'll make it happen.
Yes. And so I know earlier I said we wouldn't do the whole kit. There is one exception to the rule. So if you do not live in the United States and you would like to participate, we will do our very best to put a kit together and send it along to you, because A, it will take longer for it to get there, and B, we would not expect
shipping charges
for you individually.
No, we'll make
So,
special arrangements for anybody outside of the United States.
Yes. You may not have it, you know, at the first month, because unless
we don't know how long it'll take to get there based on all of our fabrics arriving and so on and so forth. But we will absolutely work with any. We know we've got some out of U.S. listeners, so if you would like to, by all means, we'll make it work.
Yes, we will definitely. We will make that happen for you. Everybody in the United States, you got to wait.
Yep. No exceptions.
No exceptions unless you live out of the United States.
Yep.
All right. So if you have it on a Wednesday, what time of day? If we have it on a Wednesday, it will probably be in the morning, 9:30 or 10. And then it will probably be the same time on Saturday.
Or 10 on Saturday morning.
And then, like we said, they'll the techniques will be up and available, so we'll have that as an option.
Just answered that one.
We just answered you, class morning or afternoon. What about snowbirds to home folks? Again, the shipping part will be individually. So if you would like us to ship 3 or 4 months because you're going to be out of the States, then we'll ship those.
Right, and I think we're only looking at like a $5 a month shipping fee. We're not asking you for like $15 a month, or I mean any crazy dollars.
No.
Where, you know, the individual pieces of fabric and the paper for the pattern for that month is what we're talking. You know, it's not going to be this huge box. So we figured $5 we're going to end up short a couple times, and the balance will oversee it on the few that won't. So it'll be right around there. So we're not looking at a huge, you know, so if, you know, December, January, and February, not December, January and February, you want them shipped, we can do that, and you can pick up the rest or what. You just let us know. We'll make it work.
Yep.
You bet. Great question. And so Sarah kind of alluded, the first month will be fabric prep and getting everything ready to actually start things. The second one will be how to start the applique process, because that's basically what the main bulk of everything is going to be. And part of that applique process is cutting your applique pieces. So we will absolutely be doing the scan and cut. So we will be discussing how to cut your fabrics from multiple different ways, whether it be the scan and cut, whether it be traditional, all of the different options, so you can pick what you have available to you. And I will be doing a scan and cut demo in February. So how all of that works, you can see it, and we'll talk about it, answer questions. If you have a different kind one at home and have questions or whatever, we will discuss all of that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So,
All
yeah.
right. So there's that adorable quilt. We are super excited, and we have so many things that we want to share with you guys that we've got rolling around in our heads. I'm a bobblehead.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot going on. So we've got so many things, and we look forward to sharing all of them with you.
Yes.
So,
and briefly, I didn't put this information up, but I did put the link on the introduction to this video. Hayden and Tucker have been working on some free ornaments that you can do in your embroidery machine. So
Tucker
Tucker
done a really nice job with it. They're
did
very, very cute.
Yes. So Tucker did some digitizing. She's learning our software. She already digitizes on other brands of software, so she's learning a little bit about it. So we have a new section on our website, and you can go there and download. It's a watermelon and a picnic basket. For August. So she's going to create something each month that is fun, and you can go there and download those for free. So there is no charge for those. We're just having a little bit of fun, and we have a little Christmas tree hanging up or sitting up at the counter. It's not hanging up, with the ornaments hanging on them.
There you go.
So yeah, that is going to be something we're doing for a little while, and like I said, they are super cute. So
and they're super expensive.
Yes, they're very, very expensive. So get them now.
Because we don't have the fabrics and everything here, we do not have a sample. So as soon as we get fabrics here, we will start working on that. But unfortunately, we don't have. We got the one fabric in today.
The backing.
The backing, which they can't really use much of at the moment. So we've got things that we've picked here on order, and we're waiting for them to come in. But
the majority of them are not due till the end of November.
Right. So we're not looking to have that, unfortunately, for a little while yet. So pictures are all we have as well.
Yes.
So
we might start playing with some of the
we
blocks.
might start playing with some things in other fabrics, but they wouldn't be what the actual blocks would look like. They would just be samples
Different
of the
colorways.
designs. So the finished size is 59 by 80 if you follow all of the size instructions and wonderfulness of that. So you could, of course, change borders and things like that, or add if you wanted to adjust the size. But that is the written size, is 59 by 80.
Yes, and it's called My Happy Place. So if you were on our website, we have that little, that fantastic feature of search. So if you search in the upper corner for My Happy Place, you will find...
Block of the month, I think, is also there. So I mean, you should be able to. It's also in the what's new. Trying to think what else I tagged it as, but that was late last night. I don't remember at this point. So, or is it the day before? Doesn't matter. I don't
it's all
know.
running
But it's
together.
on there. It's in there. So you should be able to find it. And real quick before we sign off, to let us know that you would like to participate, there is a $50 registration fee, and then you would not owe anything until you get your first kit in January. If you would like to pay in full, it would be $275 instead of the $325. We are waiving the registration fee, so that would be a $50, of course, discount, which is just over 15% off. Your kit will include all of the fabric, the batting, and your easy tee,
as well as backing and the binding. So we will have options.
We will discuss that. Sorry. So Cindy asked about, it popped up right as you clicked.
Yep.
So Marilyn, nope, sorry.
So
it popped up again now. See, I was just moving to,
you might have asked Quilt as you go.
So we will be discussing the different options. You'll need to decide how you want to do your backgrounds before you really start. So do you want to do quilting at the end? Do you want to quilt as you go? And then we'll talk about how you can do those different pieces depending upon what your machine options are. So we'll give you all of those options. And of course, there might be some SnL things that are available there too. And as far as a cutoff date for registering,
So we
that
have to,
will depend on how many we have signing up. We will have a cutoff number based on how many kits we can make on the fabrics that we've ordered.
yes.
So if we hit that number before we hit January or whatever that is, there may be a, sorry, we don't have any more kits.
Yep.
Outside of that,
So we're going to be ordering fabric in the next week or two,
Right.
because if we don't, we won't,
won't
get
get
it. So everyone who places their $50 deposit in the next 2 weeks is 100% going to get into this. Anything after that will be dependent upon the final number that we finish. So if we have 25 people sign up and between now and then, and we look at the math and okay, so 30 kits makes a nice round number, then we'll have 5 extra kits. If we pick 50 kits and 35 of you sign up before next week, we'll still have X
15,
amount of
so,
spots,
right.
and those will be open until the spots are filled. So I wish I had a better answer, but I don't.
In all honesty, if we end up making 50 kits and 40 end up doing it, and December rolls around and we have 10 kits left, we'll have 10 full kits on the floor. That's going to be the way that it works. So we're hoping that that's not the case. We're not planning to order that much extra. That's why we're having this conversation now.
Yes.
So that we have an idea of how much fabric to order. So.
Yeah, there's almost 12 yards of fabric just in the top of your quilt, and then 5 yards for the backing. So it's a lot of fabric to order.
Which is why we're having this conversation.
Which is why we're having this conversation. Yes. Yes.
So all that is required to let us know is the $50 registration fee. If you would like to get that discount, you can certainly do the pay in full. If you would like to do the pay in full, but put it on your synchrony so that you can still spread out the payments, just give us a call at the store and we can take care of that for you.
Absolutely.
So those are the 3 options. So let us know. We're happy to answer any other questions or take care of your payment. So hope you enjoyed all of that. I am super excited.
I know.
So
many things we have to do between now and then, but it's going to be hard.
It'll be fun.
Yes.
So, all right. Thanks. We will see you next time. Have a great one, guys.
Bye.
All right. Bye.